Welcome to Marvid Academy. In today's IGCSE Geography lesson, we explore one of the most dynamic and globally relevant topics, migration. What makes people leave their homes and journey across borders? What are the ripple effects, both positive and negative, on origin and destination countries? In this lesson, we'll break it all down, from the causes of migration to the impacts on people, places, and policies, and we'll bring it all to life with real-world case studies. Whether it's rural-urban migration in Brazil or international movement from Syria to Germany, we'll analyze patterns and connect them to the key themes of population and settlement under the IGCSE Geography syllabus. Let's begin our journey into the fascinating world of human migration.
In this lesson, we'll explore migration step by step, building a strong understanding from the ground up. We'll start by defining what migration is and identifying the various types that exist globally. Next, we'll dive into the key reasons why people move, the push and pull factors influencing migration decisions. Then, we'll analyze the impacts of migration, both for the countries migrants leave and those they move to. You'll also examine two key case studies: international migration from Mexico to the United States and internal migration in Brazil, where rural residents move to urban centers. We'll then shift our focus to how migration appears in exam questions, with tips and strategies to help you succeed. Let's begin our journey into the dynamics of human movement across the globe. Welcome to our lesson on migration, a powerful force that has shaped human history for centuries. Migration is the movement of people from one place to another with the intent of living temporarily or permanently in a new location. It affects individuals, families, communities, and entire nations. There are several key types of migration we need to understand. First, we have internal migration, such as moving from rural villages to urban cities, all within one country. In contrast, international migration involves crossing borders, like moving from Mexico to the United States. Next, we distinguish between voluntary migration, where people move by choice for better jobs or education, and forced migration, where people are driven by war, natural disasters, or persecution. Finally, migration can be permanent, with no return expected, or temporary, like students or seasonal workers who plan to go back home.
Migration doesn't just happen randomly. People move for powerful reasons. These reasons are often categorized as push and pull factors. Push factors are the negative conditions that force individuals or families to leave their homes. This could include war or conflict, where violence or persecution makes an area unsafe, unemployment or a lack of economic opportunities that leave people with no way to earn a living, or even natural disasters like floods, droughts, or earthquakes that destroy homes and farmland. Other push factors include poor access to healthcare or education and political instability, such as living under oppressive regimes or facing discrimination. On the other hand, pull factors are the positive attractions of a new place, what draws people in. Many migrate for better job opportunities, higher wages, or career growth. Others are pulled by the promise of safety and security, or access to good hospitals and schools. Family reunification is another major reason, the desire to join loved ones who've already moved. And for many, it's about improving their overall quality of life, with better housing, infrastructure, and freedom. In reality, migration decisions are often shaped by a mix of both push and pull factors. Understanding this dynamic helps us see migration not just as movement, but as a deeply human response to opportunity, danger, and hope.
Migration doesn't just move people. It shifts entire communities, economies, and cultures. Let's explore how migration impacts both the countries people leave and the ones they move to.
Starting with the origin country, the place people are migrating from. One major challenge is brain drain. When highly educated individuals, like doctors or engineers, leave in search of better opportunities, this can weaken the workforce and slow down development back home. On the other hand, migration can ease pressure on local jobs and resources, especially in areas struggling with overpopulation or unemployment. A powerful positive effect is remittances, money sent home by migrants. These funds help families, boost local economies, and even support national development in many countries. However, migration can also cause demographic shifts. As young people leave, the population left behind often becomes older, creating long-term challenges for social support systems. And finally, there are social impacts, the separation of families, the loss of community traditions, and, in some cases, the fading of cultural identity. Now let's look at the destination country, the place migrants move to. Migrants often fill critical labor shortages, taking on jobs in agriculture, healthcare, or construction. This keeps key industries running and contributes to economic growth. They also bring cultural diversity, new languages, foods, music, and traditions, enriching the social fabric of their new communities. But migration can also cause pressure. A rapid influx of people may strain public services, such as housing, schools, and healthcare systems. At the same time, migrants can drive innovation and entrepreneurship, launching businesses and introducing new ideas that benefit everyone. Still, social integration can be challenging. Without support, differences in language, culture, and identity may lead to misunderstanding or tension. In the end, migration has both challenges and opportunities. Understanding its impacts on origin and destination countries helps us create better policies, foster inclusion, and build stronger societies together. Let's take a closer look at one of the most well-known examples of international migration, the movement of people from Mexico to the United States. This migration corridor is shaped by a mix of powerful push and pull factors that reflect both the challenges in Mexico and the opportunities in the U.S. On the Mexican side, many people face poverty, especially in rural areas where jobs are limited and wages are low. Add to that high crime rates, gang violence, and insecurity in certain regions, and it's clear why many feel unsafe. Some communities also struggle with poor access to health care, education, and basic services, while natural disasters like droughts only worsen living conditions. Meanwhile, the United States pulls migrants with the promise of job opportunities and higher wages, even for unskilled labor. Families are also drawn by access to better schools, universities, and modern health care. The higher overall quality of life, including safety, stability, and personal freedoms, makes the U.S. a destination of hope. And for many, the presence of family members already living in the U.S. strengthens that pull, making it easier to make the move. This case study illustrates the powerful role that geography, economy, and social conditions play in shaping migration, and reminds us that behind every data point is a human journey.
Now, let's explore the impacts of migration on both Mexico, the country of origin, and the United States, the destination. Starting with Mexico, one of the most significant benefits is remittances, money sent home by migrants working abroad. These remittances amount to billions of dollars each year and help improve the living standards of families by funding housing, education, and health care. However, migration also results in a brain drain, where skilled professionals like doctors and engineers leave the country, weakening long-term economic growth and innovation. And beyond the numbers, there's a real human cost: family separation. Many families are split for years, leading to emotional strain and social disruption in communities. Turning to the United States, migration provides a vital labor force, especially in agriculture, construction, and service industries, jobs that are often hard to fill otherwise. Migrants also contribute to economic growth by paying taxes and consuming goods and services. On the other hand, challenges do exist. There are ongoing concerns around undocumented migration, border security, and the strain on housing, healthcare, and schools in areas receiving large numbers of migrants. Additionally, there can be social integration issues, including language barriers and occasional tension between communities. This case study shows us that migration isn't just about movement, it's about the complex ripple effects that reach both the sending and receiving countries. It offers benefits, but also presents challenges that require thoughtful, balanced management.
Let's take a closer look at internal migration in Brazil, one of the most significant examples of rural to urban movement in Latin America. For decades, millions of Brazilians have left the countryside, particularly from the semi-arid Northeast, in search of better lives in cities like São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and Brasilia. Why do they leave? In rural areas, life is often marked by hardship. Access to basic services like clean water, healthcare, and education is limited. Most people rely on subsistence farming, a way of life that's vulnerable to droughts, poor soil, and unpredictable income. Without strong infrastructure or diverse job opportunities, many families feel stuck in poverty. But the cities offer hope. Urban centers promise better-paying jobs across industries like construction, manufacturing, and services, even for those with little formal education. They also provide improved schools, hospitals, and access to modern amenities. For many, the dream of a more connected, upwardly mobile life is too powerful to ignore. This movement is often encouraged by chain migration. Early migrants send word and sometimes money back home, making it easier for relatives and friends to follow in their footsteps. Brazil's rural to urban migration is a story of resilience, challenge, and transformation, reshaping both the countryside and the cities as people seek opportunity and a better future.
Brazil's rapid rural to urban migration has transformed its cities, but not without consequences. As millions move into urban areas in search of better opportunities, cities like São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro have expanded rapidly, often without proper planning. This urban sprawl consumes valuable farmland and overwhelms existing infrastructure like roads, electricity, and sanitation systems. One of the most visible impacts is the rise of favelas, informal settlements that grow on the outskirts of cities. These areas often lack access to clean water, reliable electricity, and basic sanitation, leaving residents vulnerable to health risks and natural hazards. Public services also feel the pressure. Schools, hospitals, and public transportation systems become overcrowded, struggling to meet the needs of the growing population. At the same time, competition for jobs, especially low-skilled work, intensifies. Social challenges also emerge. High population density, combined with poverty and unemployment, can lead to increased crime, inequality, and a sense of disconnection within communities. And the environment pays a price. More people mean more waste, more pollution, and greater strain on essential resources like water and air. Brazil's experience shows that while internal migration can be a path to opportunity, it also demands smart urban planning and investment to ensure that cities grow in ways that are sustainable, inclusive, and livable for all.
Let's take a moment to review what we've learned about migration. Migration is more than just the movement of people. It's a powerful force that shapes economies, cultures, and societies. It can happen within a country or across borders. And it may be voluntary for better jobs or education, or forced due to conflict or disaster. People migrate for a mix of push and pull factors. Push factors are the hardships that drive people away from their homes, things like war, unemployment, or natural disasters. Pull factors are the attractions that draw people elsewhere, like safety, job opportunities, or access to better health care and education. We explored key case studies. The migration from Mexico to the United States shows how economic opportunities and family networks can draw people across borders. Meanwhile, Brazil's rural to urban migration highlights how people move internally, from the countryside to cities like São Paulo in search of a better life. And of course, migration has important impacts, both on the places people leave and the places they move to. Countries of origin may benefit from remittances, but suffer from brain drain. Destination countries gain new workers and cultural diversity, but may also face challenges like housing shortages or pressures on public services. By understanding these dynamics and supporting your answers with real-world examples, you're building the skills to analyze migration clearly and confidently in your geography exam. Keep practicing, stay curious, and keep exploring the world around you.
If this helped you out, make sure to give it a like, drop a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more IGCSE Geography lessons every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.